Filing sales tax reports. I want to cover the very important process of filing your mandatory dealer sales tax reports, which is a requirement for every licensed New York motor vehicle dealer. Once again, a good software program will compute all of your sales tax for you automatically. Dealer management software will integrate with Verify, get loans approved, allow you to be a buy here, pay here dealer. New York document library completes all your transactions, discountdealercenter.com. So it will compute your exact sales tax for you as well. So what is subject to sales tax in the state of New York? You're going to charge sales tax on the sales price of the vehicle. You're going to charge it on warranty fees, transportation and destination charges, any dealer installed optional equipment and accessories, unless otherwise exempt, any type of dealer preparation fees, and also dealer imposed disposal of tires. So please keep that in mind. You're going to charge sales tax on those. So what is not subject to sales tax? Any trade-in allowance for motor vehicles taken in trade. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. Also, you wouldn't charge a sales tax on interest for gap insurance or anything like that, or similar incentives that are provided by the dealer for which the dealer is not reimbursed. So you also do not charge on document fees or vehicle title and registration fees that are charged by the DMV. So let's keep that in mind. But I mentioned a trade-in allowance, and I really want to go in depth on a trade-in allowance. Let's go ahead and talk about a trade-in allowance. You are going to be able to give the customer a trade-in allowance when they trade a vehicle in on the vehicle that you're selling. So this allows the customer to pay less sales tax. And it's only allowed when a customer is trading a vehicle to a licensed motor vehicle dealer. So please keep that in mind. And you'll see right there on the screen, just to kind of give you a quick idea, let's say you're selling a vehicle for $32,000 and you took an $85 trade-in, an $8,500 trade-in, then you're going to see right there, the taxable amount is $23,500. So it actually lowers the customer's sales tax liability. And that's something that you definitely want to be aware of, because this can really incentivize your customers to trade in a vehicle to you, and then you can turn right around and resell that vehicle at a much higher profit than what you took on trade. So computing sales tax. A dealer computes the amount of sales tax due on a sale by multiplying the combined state and local sales tax by the taxable amount of the sale. So the combined state and local sales tax consists of the state sales tax plus any rate of sales tax that are imposed by your local jurisdiction, such as your city or your county. There is also an additional sales tax rate imposed within it's called the Metropolitan Commuter Transportation District, and that's MCTD, and that's composed of New York City. So if your customer lives in the Bronx, Kings, New York, Queens, and Richmond counties, then they would also be subject to that additional tax as well. So dealer exemptions. Vehicles that dealers purchase to resell are exempt from sales tax. So when you're a licensed motor vehicle dealer, you're able to buy a vehicle and then turn around and resell it without paying sales tax. Only licensed motor vehicle dealers are allowed to buy a vehicle and turn around and resell it without paying sales tax. So when you actually are doing a deal, you're going to have this document printed up. This is a very important form, which is called your Dealer Resale Certificate Form ST120. This form shows the state why you did not pay sales tax on the vehicle when it was purchased for resale, and it's going to be generated automatically by your dealer management system. So I do want to make the collection of sales tax as easy as possible. So once again, you can go to discountdealercenter.com and it will compute all of your sales tax for you automatically. Now, I do want to explain a couple things about sales tax and income tax. First of all, you pay income tax on your profits. So you're going to pay your income tax the following year, and you definitely want to set aside some money for your income tax. One of the biggest mistakes I see dealers make is they make all this money their first year in business, and they didn't set aside some money to pay their income tax the following year. And I want you to be aware the last thing you ever want to do is become in debt to the IRS. So when you start making money with your New York dealer license, you want to start really setting aside some money of your profits, a portion of your profits, so you can pay the federal and New York government next year. That's income tax. Now you're going to charge sales tax to the customer. The customer pays the sales tax on the vehicle you're selling. So you pay income tax on your profits. Your customer pays the sales tax on the vehicle that you're selling, and since you're going to be collecting sales tax, you must file what we call a mandatory sales tax return. And I really want to make sure you're aware of this because a very common mistake is someone gets their dealer's license and they are not recording their mandatory sales tax return. So since you are collecting sales tax for the state of New York, you're going to need to file what's called a mandatory sales tax return. And this is required for every business in New York that collects sales tax, including you as a licensed New York motor vehicle dealer. And I want to show you a couple of mandatory filing deadlines. So you can file your sales tax returns annually if you have collected $3,000 or less during the annual filing period. I'm assuming you're going to be collecting a lot more than that. That's if you're only collecting $3,000 a year, you are not working very hard because it's probably, I mean, that could be one vehicle that you sold in the entire year. So you can also file your returns quarterly. Okay, so your taxable receipts purchased subject to use tax, rents, and everything are less than $300,000, then you can actually do a quarterly return. Now, a monthly filing, if your total sales tax is going to be $300,000 or more in a quarter, then you will need to file every single month. So I want to make sure if you want to get in the habit of doing your reports every month, I think it's a good habit to get into the habit of filing your mandatory sales tax returns every single month, just so you get in the habit, so you never get a penalty from the state for filing a late sales tax return. So when do you file your sales tax returns? If you're doing an annual sales tax return, it must be filed between March 1st through February 28th or 29th of that year. If you're doing quarterly, March 1st through May 31st that year, okay? And then you see the other dates right there if you're doing quarterly. So those are your quarterly dates. And then if you're doing monthly, then you must do it before the 20th day of the following month. So let's talk about monthly because I do recommend that you file your sales tax returns monthly. So what's this mean? This means if you're showing the state all the sales tax that you collected in the month of May, those reports are due before June 20th. So if you're showing the state all the sales tax that you reported that you collected in the month of June, those reports are due before July 20th. And I'm going to go one step further. I recommend that you do your sales tax returns on the first day of every month. So you might give yourself, a Google or Apple Calendar reminder on the first day of every month. So go ahead and do your sales tax returns. Now, if you meet any of the following guidelines, you must file your returns online, which I'm assuming is going to apply to you. If you do not use a tax preparer to file and you use a computer, document, or calculate your tax, have broadband internet access, you must file your sales taxes online. If you've got internet access, then you're going to be required to file these online. They've carved out a little bit of a exemption for some folks that might not have high-speed internet access, but if you do not use a tax preparer to file, if you use a computer to prepare your taxes, if you have broadband internet, then you are required to file your sales tax returns online. Now, your WebFile account, I want to talk about that. You can view your filing and payment history for your business at WebFile, and you can pay your taxes, and you can also receive all types of electronic reminders and respond to notices from the state. You can add employees as account users with different levels of access as well. So you might have a sales manager that does everything for you, or you might just have a salesperson that's jumping on here once in a while to verify the sales tax they collected. So you can do this at tax.ny.gov. And I want to show you how easy this is. The state's website has made it extremely easy to do this. And there are some tax software programs that'll do this for you as well. But let me show you how easy this is. We're going to go to tax.ny.gov. And the first thing we're going to do is create an account. So we're going to click log in. And if you've got a New York government ID, you'll input that there. And then you're just going to go ahead and file the year that you want to do your sales tax returns. And you're going to walk step by step through here and basically verify everything, including your first name and last name. And you will create a password and a user ID so you can log into the system. And then we're going to scroll down here to where it says sales tax web file. Okay, and you're going to click on that. They just want to know if any of your business information has changed or if you're filing an amended return, which I'm assuming on this first time that you're not doing that. And then Let's just go ahead, just for a training scenario, let's say we're going to do these quarterly, even though I do recommend doing them every month. You're going to go through here and just answer this questionnaire, and you can see these tabs going across the very top there. That's going to ask you a few things, and you'll know exactly where you are in the entire process here. So I'm assuming that you're going to want to manually enter, and you can enter your gross sales and things like that when that time comes. And then you're going to need to select any type of counties that your customers will be living in as well. And let's just say, for example, you've collected $2,850 in sales tax. You're just going to scroll through here and pay that to the state. So I want to reiterate that to you. You're going to enter the exact amount of sales tax you collected either for that quarter or for that month, like you see right here. And then you'll be able to pay that sales tax that you collected directly to the state of New York. So you're collecting that sales tax on that vehicle at the time of the sale. You're going to hang on to that sales tax that you've collected, and then you have to pay that sales tax directly to the state since you are collecting sales tax. And you can do that with a check. They've even got a way you can do it with a credit card if you need to. So once you have done that, and then you're going to get a confirmation receipt right here that shows that you have paid your sales tax to the state of New York. It's very simple. Once you've done this a couple of times, you're going to be doing it with your eyes closed. And if you ever need to find out exactly the amount of sales tax you've collected for any month, any good dealer management software program will track that for you. So if you're like at discountdealercenter.com, you can just check the box that says sales tax collected for one period, and it shows you the exact amount of sales tax you've collected for a specific month. And that actually makes it much, much easier to file your mandatory sales tax returns. If you have any sales tax questions, I want to give you a really, really good phone number. For sales tax questions, you can call 518-485-2889. Now, if you have corporation income tax questions, now that's tax on your income, you can call 518-485-6027. Now, I want you to be aware I have called all types of technical support phone numbers with the state, and sometimes you wait 30 or 45 minutes on hold, not that often, but when you have sales tax questions or corporation tax questions, they answer these phone numbers on the first ring. So if you have any questions whatsoever about corporation income tax or sales tax questions, call one of those numbers and they will definitely help you out and steer you in the right direction.